Let's start by mirroring the leg. If we switch to our front view, okay, you can see that we need to mirror everything from this object here, which is the left leg attach, all the way down to our toes. So you can select the very root of that object chain, which is our left leg attach, come up to the character menu, let's come down and we have this tool, the mirror tool. Okay, so in this example, we can use our origin as world, which is fine, but very often you would set that to be the root object, or you could choose the selected object or any of these other options, depending on the symmetry of your setup. In this example, we should be pretty good because this is symmetrical here. Okay, we can choose the coordinates, and we're going to do that in the view, which is our front view, which is fine. And we're going to mirror, instead of minus to plus, we're going to mirror plus to minus. The reason for that is because the x-axis here is the plus direction, and we have it on the plus side, and we want to mirror it to the negative side. We want to make sure that children is included. Let's have a look through the other tabs. We have options. So what we're going to do is we're going to clone our objects. In other words, make a copy of them. You can also mirror an object. If we choose this, you can then drag an object into here and it will mirror that instead. Or you can choose to just mirror the self, which means that this whole setup will just be mirrored and it won't be duplicated. So we want to make sure we use clone, which is going to kind of essentially duplicate all of this. It's going to mirror the position. Weights don't count because we're not using a weighted mesh. Over on the right hand side, we can choose what we want to do with our object axes. It's set to rotate by default. We can leave it as none so it won't change them, or we can choose a plane to rotate them on. I'm going to leave it on rotate. Points allows us to mirror just the points if we choose to. Under clone, it's going to also mirror our tags, which is important because we want to mirror our constraints and our IK tag. Naming, we can replace left or L with R. Weights we don't need to worry about because we're not using weights on here, and then under tool we can just click mirror. So now if we just hit mirror, you can see there we go. So it's mirrored our left leg. Now we have a right leg attach. We have our IK setup, and it's created a foot goal, and it's created the pole vector as well, which you can see here. It's added in these constraint tags, and it's also linked them to null objects, which is created at the top here. All in all, it's done a pretty good job. We do need to test that it's working correctly, of course. Let's just switch to our perspective view and have a look. Everything looks okay. If we come to the top here, you can see that with the controllers, it hasn't actually done everything correctly because we created this left foot controller manually. It has created the other nulls that we need. So all we need to do here really is take this right foot goal. Let's hold down control and create a copy. And we'll call this right foot controller, like so. Okay, then we take our right toe and our right heel lift and we drag those into that right foot controller. So now we essentially have the same setup as we do for our left foot. And if we come down to our foot, let's just have a look at the new foot. I'm going to just press R for my rotate tool and we should be able to rotate the toes. That's working. We have our heel lift. Okay, that's working. And if we grab the foot controller and move that around, we should see that our IK is set up. It's going to flip. Let's just undo and let's come down here and we should have our right thigh pole, and you can see that we can use to help orient the leg correctly. So the mirror tool's done a pretty good job on the leg. Now we just got to do the same thing on the arm, which is essentially quite a lot simpler anyway. In the object manager, select the left shoulder object, which is the root of that object chain. Let's come up to the character menu, select the mirror tool once again. So this should all be set up. So we want to choose origin, world, coordinates, view, switch to my front view. options, we're going to clone, etc. Naming, left to right, tool, let's hit mirror, and there we go. Boom, works straight away. So we've got our left shoulder, right arm, forearm, right hand. And up the top here, you can see it's created a new controller for us. It's also added in that constraint. So we should just come back to our perspective view and let's grab that right hand controller, switch to our move tool. I'm just going to move that around, check that the IK is working there. Oops. Okay. That's the main IK setup for the rig. Next, we're going to move on and we're going to start adding some controllers for the hands so we can pose all of the individual fingers and thumbs.